What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ostrich Show. Today we're looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2-pack. So we have a pack here from the Spider-Man animated series with Spider-Man in the Symbiote suit and Carnage, and both of these look really cool. So we have this new box design that they're doing with the VHS design like they did with the X-Men, but now for the Spider-Man animated series. So we have this wider box design. I think, yeah, if we turn it this way there, it looks like the VHS tapes on the side. So we have two VHS tapes in it, of one of Spider-Man and one of Carnage. So those look pretty cool, and I like the 1-2 at the top and stuff. And we have more of these coming in the future, but there's our two figures on the back of Spider-Man and Carnage, and both look cool and have sort of like the cell shading design on the Symbiote Spider-Man, and he looks just really cool there. So this is a pretty cool pack. Of course, we don't really need the Symbiote Spider-Man, but it'll look cool with that cell shading stuff they have designed there. And then an animated style version of Carnage looks pretty cool as well. So pretty cool 2-pack for this. So let me get them open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with the Symbiote Spider-Man, and again, this pack is from the 1994 Spider-Man, the animated series. In this show, we see him get the symbiote from a space shuttle that crash landed on the George Washington Bridge in New York City, where Spider-Man arrived to stop the Rhino from stealing from it, but the shuttle fell into a river with Spider-Man still inside of it, and he emerged on the shore with a symbiote on his costume, and when he woke up the next day, he was all covered in this black costume and had enhanced powers and was seen to be more aggressive. And so with the symbiote, he has his same powers, just more enhanced. He has natural webbing this time, and the symbiote is able to copy all of the Spider-Man powers. And so when it goes to like Eddie Brock, he, still has a lot of the same powers as Spider-Man, and it can nullify the spider senses. And overall, it looks cool here. It just looks like our symbiote Spider-Man, but it does have the newer Spider-Man body, so we have all pinless joints, and then has the toe joints on the feet. So it's like our new, better range Spider-Man, but it has the cell shading of the symbiote suit. So of course, the all black suit with the white spider on the chest and there on the back. Even has the white there on the hands as well, but this time has the cell shading for the animated series, so it's got the blue cell shading all running through it, which looks pretty cool on this. It's not like the coolest thing ever, but it just makes it stand out quite a bit with that animated cell shading on stuff, and even some of the spider has some like dark gray and white and stuff in there, so even that has some cell shading on to make it stand out. But it's just going to be a normal Spider-Man, especially our newer Spider-Man body, but just have that symbiote suit on over the top with the blue cell shading adding the details to it. So we'll do the movement, so the head can twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far. Ooh, goes up pretty good there, so nice range of movements there. Shoulders can come up to 90 with the butterfly joint that goes back and forth there and can rotate all the way around. We had a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that's a little bit stiff, but can bend up that far at least, with the wrist that can twist all the way around and flex back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch in the middle there, so you can crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. So nice, smooth, easy crunch there, and then has the lower waist crunch as well, so crunch back and forth there. So good going forward and back there with those crunches. Then we get the hips that can come up to 90 and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around, a double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side with the toe joint on the end. So it has that better range of movement. Still pretty standard, like it's not like it gives you that much more range, but it has a few more joints with the ab crunches and stuff, and then the toe joints on the end, which I don't really care too much about. But overall, it does give you a little bit better range. So it's supposed to be the best range of movement Spider-Man that we have so far, and I think it fits that pretty well. Now we can compare it to a bunch of figures. So of course, first off, we can compare it to just the normal symbiote suit Spider-Man. So this was the retro card one, and actually you can see it's kind of smaller. I thought it was actually going to be bigger, but it's actually a smaller figure. So that's kind of weird how small it is. But yeah, this is just the more recent retro carded symbiote suit Spider-Man, so design should be relatively the same. Then we also have the retro carded Spider-Man from this animated series that has the cell shading. Crazy just how small it is compared to that, so it's crazy to have both the same Spider-Man, just being smaller version with the cell shading and stuff on there. Of course, this is the older body, so it doesn't have the toe joints and all that, but it is just weird just to see how small it is. And finally, we also have Venom from the animated series that has the cell shading that we got a while ago. So this one has the blue and red cell shading, so similar to this, and just wanted to show that since we have the two symbiote versions of Spider-Man and Venom there together with the cell shading, and just those two look pretty cool together. But for this Spider-Man, we do get some accessories. So he's got a fist hand and a wall crawling hand, so we get the opposite there, so a fist and a wall crawling. And then of course we as usually have to have the two whip hands there again with the white boxes on them. Overall, I think it's cool. I love the design, the cell shading design to it, but overall the figure's just what it is. It's that newer Spider-Man body, which I'm not 100% crazy about. It's just fine for Spider-Man. We have so many Spider-Mans, not like it really matters too much, but I think it could have even better movements, which is what I've always sort of disappointed with, but a good Spider-Man overall, at least to add to our animated series. And also in this box, we got Carnage. So again, it's supposed to be Carnage from the 90s animated series. And although he doesn't really look like he has much cell shading, he does have the black on him, but that's kind of like just the standard look for Carnage. So I guess that's supposed to be like a cell shading sort of thing, but it doesn't have the actual cell shading like darker reds or any sort of different shades of different black or whatever to make it look like the cell shading specifically. It makes it look a little bit more cartoony the way it looks. But of course, this is Cletus Cassidy, and in the show we see Carnage come around when Spider-Man webs the Venom symbiote to a space probe that was launched into space, and while in space the symbiote produced offspring until Baron Moto caused the rocket to crash back down to Earth, and the symbiotes separated out and searched for hosts, and the new symbiote that formed attached to a young man that was nearby, and it kind of forced him to go to the Ravencroft Institute for the Criminally Insane, where it then separated from that guy and bound to Cletus Cassidy and became Carnage as we see him here. And overall it looks pretty cool. It looks just like Carnage that we know and love with the all red and black design, the big crazy head with the mouth there, so he's got the crazy mouth there with all the teeth and everything, and the big white eyes, very similar to Venom, but they're more together there, so it kind of looks crazy. And then he's in the all black and red design there, as you can see, with the crazy claw hands, and he has the tendrils coming off of his body. So this is pretty much a re-release of the Carnage figure we've had, just they've repainted him, like I said, for more of that animated style, but we're gonna get a lot of similar things between the two of them. And being from Venom, the symbiote has the same powers as Venom, although it cannot produce its own webbing, but it can form tendrils which kind of act like a webbing. But we'll do the movement, so the head can twist all the way around. It can look down that far and up that far, so a little bit stiff there, but it can rock back and forth. The shoulders can come up to 90 if you get to kind of force it there, up to 90 with the butterfly joint back and forth, and rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint. Now these have the pins in them still, so we're not pinless on this figure, so we can bend up that far with the wrist that can twist around and flex back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch, so we have the ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward, crunch back, so pretty decent crunching, and you can probably hear that popping. Twist all the way around at the waist. The hips can come up to 90 and out to the side there. Oh, he's not very far off from doing the splits. A thigh twist all the way around, double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, a shin twist down there in the leg, and the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So besides the toe joint, this Carnage almost has better movements than the Spider-Man does, which is kind of crazy, but overall he looks pretty good. Just looks like Carnage, functions like Carnage, and like I said, is pretty much just a repaint of that old Carnage figure we've had, which speaking of, I'll go ahead and bring that in. So again, this is the comic version of Carnage, so he just has more red on him and in a darker red shade at that, so it makes him brighter with a little bit of less black all over him, so again, makes it more that animated style. But the heads are going to be pretty much the same, has the same body design and everything with the tendrils and all that, and like I said, everything's going to be the same and comes with a lot of the same accessories as well. So first with this, we get the unmasked head of Cletus Cassidy, so there's his face and looks pretty crazy with his red hair and his big creepy smile and eyes, looks like a human version of the Joker there, just looks pretty crazy. And as I said, it's the same accessory, so here's from that older figure, so there you can see that. So again, just makes it look like a little bit more animated with the brighter colors and stuff, but still just the exact same mold and everything there. They just looks like they used photoreal on this one. We get an additional set of tendrils that we can pop into his back, so he's got the hole in his back, so we can take this and put the tendrils in, so it pops in his back there like that. So now he's got these just like tendrils sticking up over his head, and then he comes with some additional hands. For first, we get a left hand that's got longer claws and more like reaching out sort of claws compared to this, even though they're not much different, just the claws are a little bit longer, so we can switch it out. So there's that hand again with the longer claws on him. And just like the old Carnage, we also get the blade hand, so where the hands formed into this giant blade thing, which looks pretty cool. So let's switch this out. So there we can have Carnage with the giant blade getting ready to swing it at Spider-Man, but it looks pretty cool overall for Carnage. Like I said, it's kind of weird since it's just that old Carnage figure just repainted up into the animated style, but it still looks pretty cool and functions just as good, so I can't really complain too much about it. Just overall looks really cool for Carnage here. And there we can have the showdown between our symbiote suit Spider-Man and Carnage now, again from the animated series, and both of them just look really cool. I love the animated design that they added to the symbiote Spider-Man. Like I said, Carnage doesn't really have much to show he's from the animated, but it just makes him more basic design stuff, more cartoony, so that's what makes it fill in the animated style there. So both of those look really cool though, of Spider-Man and Carnage in that design, and pretty cool box set. Like I said, don't really feel it's necessary. You don't really need a symbiote version of Spider-Man, especially having the Venom, and then Carnage is just a cool figure to add on within now that they're expanding this line, doing the VHS box sets with more animated style characters coming out. I guess it's cool to add these in along with them, but not 100% necessary. But let me know what you thought of the figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this for you, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.